Hello, everybody. I hope you are well. One of the things that I do from time to time is I put out some podcasts, and I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh content creator, and I like talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. I put out a video on the fuck who knows when part of whatever. I think it was a couple weeks ago, called "What Would Master Rule 6 Look Like?" And I postulated that Master Rule 6, the goal of the next Master Rule should be to forcibly slow down the game, but through rules changes and not through mechanics. So, for example, Master Rule 4, with the advent of links, basically gimped every other special summoning type up from the extra deck and required every single deck to make a Link 2 to be able to summon more than one, extra deck monster. And which gimped a lot of decks. And then they came out with Master Rule 5 and basically subjected pendulums to the Link treatment exclusively at that point, which was not a bad thing in my personal opinion. Now, that being said, the game's Master Rule 5 was, like, some people think Master Rule 5 is a mistake, and with how fast everything's gotten, as well as the power creep of new monsters and new game states that are coming from these types of deck brewing, I'm inclined to agree. So I suggested the limiting of special summoning to 6 per turn, and a couple other things, maybe some tactical bans, but I wanted to give a response to two of the commenters, the only two commenters on this video I made, and I wanted to address my thoughts of why I think they wouldn't work necessarily for a Master Rule 6. So we're going to start here at the bottom. It says, Master Rule 6 should have a flip monsters be able to be flip summoned after being set for 1 turn. Like, trap cards don't start a chain, only their effects does, meaning that the activation of a trap card isn't actionable, but the effect is. The main phase is the only an open game state, so similar to Magic. So I don't necessarily agree with that. You're gonna have to errata a lot of cards, and frankly, like I would say, like, there's, I think of a specific ritual monster that would make this a very, very bad thing to play under, unfortunately. But Master Rule 6 should have flip monsters be able to be flip summoned after being set for 1 turn. So I'm going to presume that Bellflower here meant you should be able to flip summon a monster the same turn it's set. Because that would be an improvement. Because, having them because flip monsters are already just monsters like traps that or are flipped when their opponent attacks them, and you have to wait a turn for them regardless. So I'm going to guess that they meant the opposite of what they said here, because what they say already doesn't make sense. If running into a flip monster is what you're worried about in the year of our Lord, 2023, don't attack face-down flip monsters. Flip monsters used to be ass, but now we have Shadal, Subterror, and a couple others. So that doesn't hold up as much anymore. But they're by no means super powerful. They don't need, to not activate their effects during an opponent's battle phase. What I wanted to get to was Smatty's comment here. They said, you're the only person that mentioned to limit the amount of special summoning. As I've been saying this a while, I know this will definitely change the pace of the game. It absolutely will. Although, how we go about doing it, I'd say 6 summons, period, per turn. Of course, hand traps would need to be limited, or else the game will drag on from constant negate. It's already a constant negate fest. I would posture that if we limited the amount of negates that are actually available, people will play more trap cards. People will play cards that can be like more extenders. People will play will not have as many hand traps in their deck. They will reduce the number of hand traps for the purposes of, like, being able to build a more consistent board later, because hand traps lower consistency, which is not good. A total of 5 special summons plus 1 normal summon. Nah, the reason I say 6 summons period is because you have to account for double summon, and you also have to account for Fluundereeze. The Fluundereeze is an interesting, fun little deck, and frankly, it is the cheapest and most playable option at this point in the current meta. But I don't think throwing any archetypes on the chopping block for the sake of I don't want to throw any cards on the chopping block that have to be either perma-banned or completely rewritten or just thrown to the wayside because their mechanic is not available to be played anymore. Limiting special summoning is definitely what needs to happen, but I think limiting the summoning period to 6 per turn would be adequate because Fluundereeze can summon 4 to 5 times per turn. 6 or 7 even, with their different effects, and they can do it during your turn too. So we'll have to see. I think hand traps being limited. I would be interested to see if the people just naturally cut more hand traps out of their deck just by virtue of wanting more consistency. Because you have 6 summons, you better make them fucking count. Because the arc of Yu-Gi-Oh bends towards combo, so that's just a whole thing. But yeah, that was kind of just I saw these 2 responses on my on this video, and I was interested in giving some kind of response to them because I will say that I thought the flip monster stuff, as I postured it, is interesting. Main phase as the only open game state, I think, is an interesting in concept, but also the different phases also make Yu-Gi-Oh! Are also uniquely what make Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! We're not Magic, and frankly, an open game state like that is a little rough. Being able to attack with some monsters and not attack with others, it's kind of rough. But I digress. Thank you so much for watching. To the commenters Smatty and Bellflower, thank you guys so much for chit-chatting with me and giving me your ideas. I thought they were interesting and compelling, even if I didn't agree with some of them. But I appreciate everybody who watched this video. Thank you so much for watching. Check out things like the doobly-doo things right here you see. And I will see you guys on the flip. Have a good one.